Everyone, I'm Chiara Amini, and I'm working on this project with Sarah and John, who are not here. So first of all, Sarah and John are the archaeologists. I am the social scientist stroke economist here, so a bit more in line with the previous presentation. So this is very much a work in progress. At the time when we applied for the conference, we were hoping to have some result from some preliminary data collection, which is mainly qualitative. Unfortunately, the project is on hold, and I'll explain why. So I don't have any evidence to show you or to present, but rather I'm going to talk through the plan of what we are doing and further fundings that we have secured and how this integrates with other projects. So it will be useful to have some discussion on what our aims and objectives are, our methodology, and how to overcome some of the challenges. So it is a fully interdisciplinary project, as I'm the social scientist in the team, and we are working with the archaeologists. So we are aiming to really co-create a vision with a target group, which in this case is young people. We started with the target age of 16 to 24, but we're actually working with slightly younger group at the moment, which is 12 to 16. And mainly we're targeting young people living in Seaford, which is on the coast in Sussex, that are facing socio-economic and other barriers to opportunity. And we are interested in understanding how our target group view local heritage, and heritage in this sense, it is cultural heritage, archaeological heritage, but also nature, because we are looking at a specific site that includes all these elements. And by looking at the interplay and interaction with heritage, we want to explore the link between education inequality, employability, and evaluate the benefits, the potential benefits or consequences of interacting with the local heritage. And we are looking at well-being, just linking to the first presentation, what do we mean by well-being here? We look at psychological well-being, and we have a plan for how to evaluate it in a way that has been done before in other projects, but very much in line with what was mentioned in the previous presentation. But we are also particularly interested in employability and future educational opportunity in heritage and potentially in the creative sectors, and I'll tell why. So just a bit of background of where we are working, what is our site. So we are working on Seaford Head, which is a bit of a cliff on Sussex. This is a nationally important area featuring archaeology of multiple periods. So don't ask me any question about the archaeology bits, because my colleague archaeologists are not here. But it is a beautiful cliff, which you can see here. Maybe many of you have seen it. It is a white cliff that are very, very impressive. And there is a path going along the cliff, which is at risk due to climate change. And the current path, which goes through a golf course, currently has to be rerouted. And this is due to cliff erosion. And hence our project is particularly meaningful, because we are really looking at a site that has a cultural, natural value in the context also of climate change. And we are really interested also in understanding the extent to which our target group is aware of all these elements and how they perceive these aspects of heritage, which is something that maybe sometimes it is overlooked. So this is where we are working, and UCL has various sites in Sussex, and my colleague archaeologists are engaged with that. So, but we know that awareness and use of coastal heritage is low. We've been working with the local council, with charities, and the South Down National Park. So these are our 3 partners. And we know from the local council that there is an issue with engagements and awareness of the local asset, and hence we want to understand more of why and how people engage with specific sites and the consequences of it. So there is an input and output aspect of it. Just from a social science point of view, that's sort of my interest here and my role in the projects. We're looking at the benefits or potential benefits of cultural and natural heritage because of well-being, and all of you are aware of this, so I'm not going to go over this, but also the benefit in terms of providing employability, transferable skills, opening up for opportunity in tourism, creative industries, and maybe foster entrepreneurship. So we know that there are a lot of potential benefits by engaging with heritage, both cultural as well as natural, that can then transfer to aspects of life beyond psychological well-being. And this is also what we are particularly interested, because this might be very relevant for those that are shaped and affected by socioeconomic inequality. And for this particular target group, what it is important is also how heritage it is perceived and how it is valued, which from an academic point of view, I believe it is something we know a bit less about it. So how do we want to explore these issues and evaluate our intervention? So we have multiple methodologies that we are planning to use, and I'll tell you why the project is on hold in a minute. So our ethos is really to use co-produced research with the different stakeholders, which has the council, Southampton National Park, youth groups, and the target group itself, to have a better understanding of what the key priorities are, what insight can we gain, and what can be done. We also plan to use specific creative tools and art-based methodologies to facilitate discussion and engagements of our group. For what concerns the well-being part, what we were planned to do, it is to use the UCL well-being umbrellas rather than the Edinburgh scale, because my experience in other projects has been more in favor of using the UCL well-being umbrellas rather than Edinburgh scale, and this is, hence that's what we were planning to do, to use the UCL framework to have an understanding of well-being in one point in time, so before a specific event, during the event, and after. So keep in mind that this is a small project. We have, at the moment, we have about 20 participants, and we are going to run 3 events with these participants. The events that we are planning to run are quite structured, in the sense that the first event includes photo elicitation. So we get the young kids to go and take pictures of what they think is the local heritage, and we use the visual element as a starting point for discussion. Then in the second event, we were planning to take them to the cliff to have a walk and talk session with a talk by archaeologists, and maybe some also potential to actually do something. That's not my part. And the well-being evaluation with the UCL scheme before and after. And then we were going to do another workshop with the same group using the visual output from the two previous events to better explore how they perceive the place and the potential outcomes of this interaction, maybe in terms of opportunities, future opportunities. So now we have not done this workshop yet because unfortunately everything was planned around the cliff, which is this important site, because recently, unfortunately, there's been a suicide episode of a young person from that cliff. So the council and the youth group and the school that was partnering with us, were not feeling comfortable in running an activity or a series of activities that were so focused on a specific site. So they're still keen to work with us, but so we have slightly rerouted the projects to around local heritage and the Southampton National Park without focusing so much on the cliff. The cliff was of particular interest to us because of its heritage, and locally people feel very, close to this space. There are also some cottages that are widely debated at the risk of disappearing under the sea. Am I running out of time? I'm not keeping time. Yeah. So anyway, we are rerouting the project just to make it relevant to the local space and heritage, not just so focused on the cliff. We have obtained further funding to link this project to something else that we are doing in Brighton. But yeah, this is, so I think I'm sort of running out of time. This is the youth meet in Seaford. We know, that from talking to the council, the young people face some challenges, and hence this is why we want to work with this particular group. But in terms of evaluation, so much, we were going to evaluate well-being using the UCL framework with a sort of before and after follow-up, keeping in mind that this is a very one-point-in-time intervention. But at a broader level, we are interested just not in well-being, but also in other aspects related to opportunity, employment, and how people interact with a space. Yes, so that's it.